Hello there everyone, this is Miriam from Pain Outside the Box, and first of all I'd like to wish you all a happy holiday period, happy Easter if you're celebrating this festivity, or happy holidays if you have any holidays coming up. And just in time for this time of year, I thought I'd discuss one of my favorite subjects, which is actually self-care, particularly the kind of self-care you need to be engaging in if you're suffering from chronic TMS pain. Now, first of all, I always like to say that being pain-free or symptom-free is always a side effect to your emotional state, to your dominant emotional state. So it's not something that you can achieve directly by, let's say, working on a meditation or trying to fight off the pain, but it's something that you experience once you've achieved a happier and more relaxed emotional state. And this is where self-care comes in and why it's so important. Because I notice so many people who do their best to learn all they can about TMS, which is great. They meditate as much as they can, which is great. But then I notice a huge lack of self-care elements in their lives, a lack of activities that they enjoy on a regular basis. And I can say for myself, I mean, if it weren't for the other activities that I engaged in while I was trying to work on my pain levels, I don't think I would have improved so much. So when I was improving, I made it a habit of going out every day for a walk and also to the beach. Thankfully, it was summer, so that helped me a lot. And I took the decision to engage in as many activities that I enjoyed as I could, for as long as I could do them, obviously given my current situation. So this is what I'm gonna help you with today. I'm gonna give you some pointers as to what you can be doing in order to achieve a more relaxed emotional state, okay? So number one, get out of the house as much as possible. Recently, I've noticed even more with COVID that people tend to spend so much time indoors. And when we're indoors, we tend to ruminate much more, especially when we're alone, okay? Our thoughts tend to take us to, thoughts about our pain, our symptoms. There's more chance that we'll be thinking and ruminating about our pain if we are indoors. And there's more chance of us feeling lonely, okay, feeling bored, and all the negative emotions that come with this sense of boredom. So I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to get yourself outdoors, even if you have to push yourself a little bit in the beginning. Okay? And if you can do this regularly enough, let's say every day as much as possible, even if you go for a short walk, even if you just go for a drive and just sit somewhere outside, in the case that you're in pain and you can't walk, okay? But just being outside, just being in nature, especially in nature, next to a body of water, next to a lake, the sea, in a forest, wherever, this has repeatedly shown over and over in different studies that it has a calming effect on the nervous system. And now you might not notice the benefits immediately, especially if you're not an outdoor person, okay? You might find that you're kind of pushing yourself to go in the beginning. But if you do it regularly enough, I promise you, you will feel the benefits of it. Now, the key word with self-care especially is consistency. It's regular. It's totally fine to treat yourself to something that's a one-off now and then that you can enjoy, let's say a spa day or a trip or whatever. But try to think about self-care as something that you can engage in on a regular basis, because a one-off trip is not going to solve, your long-term emotional state. It might make you feel better, but what I want you to think about is things that you can do regularly, that are feasible enough for you to do every week, if not every day in the case of getting yourself outdoors, okay? Okay, so number two, self-care. Meditation or spending some time on your own reflecting or journaling, so kind of the emotional work. Now, with this kind of emotional work, you have to be careful that you're not constantly forcing yourself and that you're not making it a part of your kind of daily duties or chores. So tune into how you're feeling, okay? Tune into your instinct. If you feel that you would like to journal, journal. If you feel that you would like to meditate because you feel calmer after, do so. But if you feel that you're being regimental about it, try to take a step back. It's better to go out or do something else in that case, okay? So I always caution people, because some people take it too seriously, and because of this, it ends up having the opposite effect of calming, even if it's supposed to be a calming meditation, okay? All right, so number 3, a hobby or an interest, okay? Maybe something that you've neglected, maybe something that you can't keep upcoming with excuses about it, not doing it, okay? But just choose one thing that is feasible. If you're busy, one thing that doesn't take so much of your time, okay? And do it. Think back to your childhood or when you were younger. Think back to activities that you really used to enjoy, okay? It could be painting, it could be knitting, it could be a kind of sports that you can still do despite your pain, okay? And do it. I mean, it's amazing how much we forget how beneficial these things have been for us, okay? Especially these kind of hobbies that get us into a sort of flow. This is what you need. Hobbies like writing, painting, something that gets you fully absorbed. This is part of self-care, and it helps get your attention off the pain onto enjoying something else. And remember that the point is to enjoy this activity despite the pain. So always go for an activity that you can still enjoy despite the pain. So let's say you have leg pain and you enjoy running. For the time being, maybe you can't go for a run. Don't force yourself if you feel scared going for a run, but just engage in another activity, maybe a walk or something, other hobby, okay, that you can still enjoy despite the pain. Just so this doesn't all backfire, basically. So we are talking about self-care today and not about challenging yourself. That's another topic for another day, how to challenge yourself when it comes to resuming physical activity. But for today, it's focusing on the things that you can still do despite your pain. So if there's something, a wish or desire, something you really aspire to do, but you can't yet because of the pain, don't fret about that for now. Just think about something else that you can enjoy. Okay, number 4. Going out for a coffee regularly, okay, eating outside, outdoors, with someone else, being in the company of someone else who you can meet regularly. As I said before, it can't just be a one-off, okay? It can't just be a one-time picnic that you have once a month. No, it has to be something that you can plan every week, if not more than once a week, because we want to get you into this new, better feeling routine. This is the aim behind self-care, okay? So any activity outdoors that you can do at least once a week, or indoors for that matter, okay? Number 5, having a relaxing bath, if you have a bath at home, or things like treating yourself to aromatherapy at home, anything that relaxes you, yoga, anything that you can do at home regularly, okay? So I think I've given you some ideas already. I'm sure you can come up with more ideas for yourself. I'd just like you to think of self-care as something that you feel that you want or that you need, and of doing it as often as you feel that you need it, okay? So it could be really anything that takes your mind off the usual intensity, the usual stressors of work, of thinking about the pain if you have TMS, okay? So anything that distracts you positively and that you can enjoy despite your pain levels or despite your symptoms. And if you do have symptoms while engaging in this activity, you can always notice them, you can always check in with them, but then try to focus your attention back on the activity you're engaging in. And you can do this through mindfulness, for example, by focusing on your surroundings, on how it feels. Let's say you're taking a shower or a bath, you're focusing on how the water feels, on the temperature. If you're going out for a walk, you can focus on the sounds outside. You can focus on the contact between your feet and the ground, okay? So anything that gets your mind off the constant negative thinking about your symptoms and into the present moment. Because self-care is about being engaged happily in the present moment after all. So if there's an activity that gets you to ruminate more, then that's not self-care, that's not for you. So let's say maybe you take a walk, but you always end up thinking about something negative. Now that's not working. You either need to take a walk somewhere else which is more interesting for you, where you can get more curious about your surroundings, or you need to do another activity that is much more distracting. So this is just to get you thinking a little bit about what will really work for you and what won't, okay? All right, so that's all for today. I just want you to prioritize self-care as much as, if not more, than the other kind of TMS work that you might be engaging in, okay? Because it's equally important, and it's what leads to a relief of symptoms eventually once you reach that more relaxed state of mind. That's really what it's all about. Okay, so I'll see you all next time, and happy holidays once again. Bye-bye.